everybody, it's Femtrooper, and today we're counting down my top 20 Jrpgs for the Switch, and today we're going to cover number 20 to number 11. I've never done a top 20 Jrpgs for the Switch video. I've done some top 10s, but I play so many Switch games that the list is really fluid and always changing. So we're doing an update. We're talking about my favorite Jrpgs on the Switch, and I think instead of having a ridiculously long video, I'm gonna do it in two parts. So today we'll do games number 20 down to 11, and then next week we will do number 10 to number 1. So I'm really excited about both because all of these games, all of them are fantastic. I'm so excited to share all my thoughts. So let's start. Of course, before we get into it, if you're not subscribed, please make sure to subscribe, click like, and of course, tell me your favorite Jrpgs on the Switch. Coming in at number 20 is Final Fantasy 1. Just the original, just Final Fantasy. And I really enjoyed this game. It shocked me, it surprised me. I could not believe how detailed it was, how much of a story there was. Like, I was just really shocked. I was really shocked with this one because I've played the original Dragon Quest and it is simple as simple can be. Like, it is really just guy saves princess, beats bad guy. Like, it's really chill. There's not much going on. It's great, but there's not a lot going on. Now, Final Fantasy 1, way different. I mean, there's a party for starters, really cool, and there's just more of a story. There were actual interesting things going on in towns and things to do. I was just shocked because I thought it would be more simplistic like the original Dragon Quest, but no, it is far more advanced. No slam to Dragon Quest 1. Dragon Quest 1 is very good, but Final Fantasy 1, wow, like I was just really shocked. I'm sort of like speechless because I went into it with a completely different mindset. And it was just way longer, too, than I thought. Like, Final Fantasy 1 has a lot going on. It is not like a 5-hour game. It is quite lengthy, like, when you think about it. I know it's not 100 hours, but, like, it is decent. Like, Final Fantasy 1 takes a while to beat, and that's just because there's so much to do. It's really good. It's a fun adventure. It's the original. It's worth it. If you are a JRPG fan, I mean, you have to play the original Final Fantasy, and the Pixel Remaster, probably the best way to play it, honestly, because you can play it however you want. I mean, you can play it, you know, really hard, really easy. It looks great. You can play it with original music. You can play it with new music. I mean, come on, it's great. Coming in at number 19 is Blue Reflection Second Light. Now, this is a really awesome game, and it's better than the first one. Seriously, it's way better than the first one. I really like this game. It's super weeby, it's super fan servicey, it's ridiculous, but it's also incredibly touching, heartwarming, emotional, kind of dark, and like kind of creepy at times. I really like it. It has amazing dungeon design. I say that just because I'm not usually like a person who cares about that, but compared to the first one, wow, they really upped it. It's really, really good. And I just really wanted to know what was going to happen. Disclosure. Games that make this list, usually my big factor is story and feeling. So for some people it's gameplay, like, oh wow, the battle system was so great, it's not my number one. Not really my thing. I'm more interested in the way it makes me feel and just, the actual plot and the story and the characters. Okay, back to the game. Blue Reflection Second Light is a ton of fun, and it's actually pretty lengthy. It's like 40 hours. It's just really good. Okay, it's not the best game on the Switch. It's not my favorite JRPG. That's why it's at number 19. But it is actually really solid. It's a great, great, great game. I absolutely love it. And any chance I get to talk about it, I think it's worth talking about because it's, again, a little underrated, under the radar. It's not something you hear a ton about. So I will definitely always plug it because it's good. It's a really cool game. And yeah, it's super cozy. And that's not my thing, but for some reason, the coziness in this is just perfect. It's a really cool JRPG. Coming in at number 18 is Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. What a fantastic remake. I know not everyone loved it, but I really did, because it has kind of the same graphics that it had on the DS, but kind of in a 3D way, so they're really chibi and cute, and they didn't make it look more realistic, and I think that's totally fine. I enjoyed that. Really had that Game Boy kind of handheld feel, and I think that's really fun. I like this generation, but I don't have the same amount of nostalgia for it, so for me it just felt like a brand new adventure. Even though I had played the original back on the DS, it had been so long, and so whenever I play a Pokemon game I haven't played in years, always the best. Super fun. It's always a different time because you have different Pokemon all the time. You might have a different starter. That's why I think they're one of the most replayable games, because you can just always have it a different way each time. Each time you play it, it's going to be drastically different. And this one is super fun. There's no BS. It's just a Pokemon game. It's old school, but it has experience share, and I just feel like it's wonderful. It's great. I am so happy with it. I really enjoyed this game. I mean, come on. It's old school Pokemon fun, and it's not exactly super easy either. I remember the Elite Four being kind of a challenge on this one. It was a good one. I just love it. I would definitely replay this. Like, I really enjoy the Pokemon series the way it used to be, and that's what this is. So whenever we get a remake on a newer console like the Switch, I am so there. Coming in at number 17, we have Final Fantasy VII Remastered. So I do have the physical copy here. I actually haven't opened it because I originally did play a digital copy and then thought I need to own it physically. And it comes with Final Fantasy VIII, which is great. Final Fantasy VII is amazing. It's a wonderful game. It's not my personal favorite in terms of the mainline Final Fantasy games, but I really do enjoy it. So I had to put it on this list because I had a wonderful time playing it. I actually beat it 2 days before my son was born, so kind of funny. I remember starting it up and thinking, is this a stupid idea? Because I started it up like 2 weeks before he was born, and I thought, should I really be doing this? But I ended up beating it because I had all the time in the world, because I was just sitting on the couch being massively pregnant. So yeah, this is a really interesting game, but the reason it's a bit lower, if you're thinking why is it so low on your list, it's just I find the original kind of convoluted, and I just didn't connect with the characters the way I did with the same characters in Remake. So I really connected with them in that, and that's why I hold Remake higher, I know, sorry, than the original. I know that's atrocious to some people, and that's fine. It's all a personal thing. It's subjective. It's a video game. I just really do like Final Fantasy VII, though, as like a universe, as a world. I love it. So the original, yeah, it does hold a special place in my heart. It's a really good game, and I really like it. I remember starting it up like 12 years ago and never finishing it, and that's why, not that long ago, I ended up finally beating it on the Switch, and it's a really good game. Like, it's awesome. I love it. I would almost want to replay it again just to see what my thoughts are, having played a million other Final Fantasy things, like, like Remake, Rebirth, all that stuff. So I'd have to check it out again, but for now, it is a little lower. It's not my favorite, but I really enjoy Final Fantasy VII. For number 16, I'm cheating a little bit because it's a 3-pack, and I'm kind of including them all, even though one of them stands out more than the rest. That's Dragon Quest, the Erdrick Trilogy. Yeah, Dragon Quest 3 would be the one that is the best, and I would probably just put that one, but we are going to include 2 and 1 for fun. And yes, I'm super aware that they're remaking these, and 3 comes out really soon, and if I were to remake this video in like 6 to 8 months or something, then yeah, obviously that would be probably on this list, and this would get booted off because I'm sure that's going to be the definitive way to play the game. But until then, I'm sticking to this because this is what's available. And it's a really great way to experience these games. It's how I experienced Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3. And quite frankly, Dragon Quest 1 and 2 on the NES, there's no way I would be playing those. I'm just not into that because it's just brutally hard. And these are a little bit more accessible and doable. They're mobile ports, but they just made it fun in a way that I could do it. There's no difficulty modes, but I was able to do it. So I really enjoyed them. Dragon Quest 3 is the best of the 3 of them. It's so good. It's a great big adventure. The only thing that makes Dragon Quest 3 to me not like the best Dragon Quest, because I know it is a lot of people's favorite, but it's lacking because everybody in the party doesn't have a personality. You just kind of pick different people to be in your party from the very get-go, and That's it. Like, they don't have, you know, backstories or personalities or say funny things. Not like some of the other Dragon Quests in later iterations. So to me, it's like, yeah, it's great, but there's no personality, and that brings it down a notch. So that's why it's lower than other ones, obviously, and other ones are on other systems anyway. But this is really great. I'm sorry. I really like it, and I stand by it. But yeah, I realize it's going to be replaced by the HD 2D remake very soon. But until then, love this. At number 15, we have Grandia. This is the collection. I've only played the first one, and Grandia is solid. It's an amazing, amazing big adventure with kids. They're going across the world. It was so fun. I mean, the main character literally just wants to go on an adventure. So it really speaks to me. I've been told for years, like, you know, you'll love that game, and then I ended up playing it finally, and it was great. I mean, Grandia is fantastic. So it's fun, it has great music. The dungeons are janky. I'm sorry, the dungeons are... yeah, I was not a huge fan because of the camera angles. It was weird. It has a little PS1 jank sometimes. But other than that, it's great. I mean, the story is great, the characters are great, the music is great, the battle system is... I mean, it's a normal turn-based JRPG. I really enjoyed it. Everything is pretty much solid. It is a fun time. It's whimsical. It's super colorful. You go to fun places on your adventure. Like, it is really, really, you know, a Femtrooper style game. So I highly recommend Grandia. You know, just listen to the opening theme song, and it sounds like the most 90s anime. It's amazing. It really reminds me actually of Magic Knight Rayearth, so I don't know, but it's really good. This is a really fun game, and because I like the first one so much, I do need to get to the second because I have a feeling I'll really enjoy it too. I just, again, need to get to it. Obviously, I haven't played every single game out there, so if there is a game on this list you're like, huh? Well, A, it might be in my other video, and B, I just maybe didn't play it yet. One rule I haven't really specified actually is I have to have beaten the game for it to be on this list. So there's one game you'll see in this pack here I haven't beat. I would definitely hold it very high, so one day it may make this list, but until then, actually coming in at number 14 here is Final Fantasy X-2. Yeah, that's right, the sequel. I love it. Final Fantasy X is amazing, but I still haven't beat the final boss, and I just feel like I haven't truly beat it, and I haven't seen credits roll, so I won't put it on this list. Maybe one day. I hold it very highly. I love Final Fantasy X. But Final Fantasy X-2 is actually, like, an absolute delight. Like, it is really, really fun. And I like Yuna more in it. I like all the characters more in it. You just get to see a different side of them. It is really silly. And it doesn't take itself as serious as the first one. And that's kind of refreshing. So many games are so serious. Like, we have to defeat the king. And it's like, okay, can we just, like, be silly for just a sec? And Final Fantasy X-2 understood the assignment of being goofy, fun, serious, because it is emotional, and the true ending to this will make you bawl your eyes out. It's really good. But yeah, no, it's a really good game. It's definitely worth everyone checking out, and I'm sorry, I gotta say, but like the battle system with the dress spheres, amazing. It's so much fun. Soundtrack is great in this, has some incredibly goofy songs, like it's a really fun time, and sometimes we need silly JRPGs. I don't mean like outrageously silly here, but just silly enough that it's not as serious as some of the other Final Fantasies. I mean, Final Fantasy is generally pretty serious, and I found this not to be. It's just a really good time. Highly recommend Final Fantasy X-2. It's just, I don't know, I loved it. Number 13 is Triangle Strategy. Now, a game I never ever wanted anything to do with because I'd played Octopath Traveler, struggled, and then thought, well, that won't be for me, until I realized, okay, there's difficulty settings, yay, and I tried the demo and it's really good. This has one of the best stories in JRPGs. It has amazing cliffhangers. It's done in sort of chapters, and after every chapter, your jaw is like hanging and you're like, what? Like, it's really, really good. I love playing strategy RPGs. I don't play tons of them, and when I do, it's kind of a fun thing, and that's what this is. It was really great. Fun, you know, battle arenas, interesting settings. Like, overall, this is just a great, great game, and I really gotta say, like, I'm not a medieval setting person. Like, I'm not into, like, the whole, like, this is, you know, this king and this knight and this, I don't know. It's not my thing. I prefer more, like, interesting, like, sci-fi Final Fantasy sort of, you know, modern day stuff. But when it's done with the most interesting story that keeps you hooked, I'm there. So yeah, I do like some medieval things. It just has to be super interesting, and that is what this is. At number 12, we have Final Fantasy IX. Aw, this game is just nice. This game is just really, really, really super. It's like a big hug. I really enjoy Final Fantasy IX, okay? Like, it's so comforting and nice and delightful. It's whimsical. It's kind of a return to old school Final Fantasy, but with cutesy characters and yet still super serious. I will admit that at the end of this game, I teared up, not because it was like sad. It was more just because it was like, oh my god, like, I'm just so happy with what happened with these characters. And it was kind of like, you want to stand up and start clapping. Like, this game deserves a standing ovation. That's what this game is. It's really, really good. And yeah, it has some weird character designs. Like Zidane, I remember thinking, when I first saw it, like, as a teenager. And then now I'm like, no, this is cool. I like the art direction now. It's really neat. And it has amazing music. It's still, like, core Final Fantasy. Like, this is awesome. It's a really great game. And it has wonderful characters like Vivi in it. Like, I don't know. Sorry. But Final Fantasy IX is just fantastic. Like, I just really enjoy it. And I'm so happy that I ended up getting this and beating it. Because I have it for PlayStation 1. And I've never finished it until I played the Switch version. And it was so nice to play it that way. I mean, all these games are great to play on the Switch. They're handheld. It's super easy. But yeah, Final Fantasy IX. I mean, if you've not played this, please, because it's like, you know, one of the original OG, like, fantastic ones. Like, some of them they're okay. No, this is fantastic. It's definitely worth your time. Lastly, for this list, we've come to number 11, and that is Fire Emblem Engage. This is now my favorite Fire Emblem game. I absolutely love it. Until this came out, Awakening was, but then I thought, no. This is for me. Now, some people didn't like the story in this. I did like the story. It was really fun, actually, to me, and I found it to be that big adventure thing that I like so much. And even though it's, you're not like walking around and going on, like, you know, a world map, there was a world map, and you go to different places, and each place you would usually gain a party member, and it was super fun to see who they were, and a lot of them were royalty, and it was really, really cool because it was like all the kingdoms joining together, and I really liked it. There were some bad guys that became good guys. I don't know. I really, really enjoyed this game. It is solid, and also, you know, if you don't like the story, it's Fire Emblem, so you're gonna have that great gameplay here, and it's really, really great. Like, I loved it. All these big battles. There were extra battles I was doing. Like, it was really fun. I really enjoyed this. It had a lot going on, and aesthetically, my god, it is so beautiful. I really like this. They went for a real, like, anime style here, but in a fun, silly way, with, like, the main character having, like, blue and red hair. But it looks great. I really liked it. And yeah, it's Fire Emblem. It's not gonna have, like, some crazy in-depth story. It's usually pretty stereotypical medieval. You're maybe a chosen one. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's Fire Emblem, but I love it. I enjoy it because I actually do come to these games for the gameplay. I'm not into gameplay usually, but Fire Emblem, I just enjoy it so much. I am horrible at these games, but it doesn't matter because I play it how I want to. I really enjoy that SRPG gameplay. Like, it really just makes me think I'm playing some crazy tabletop game and moving characters around. I really like it. It's really fun. And I remember having, like, the best time with this out of all the other Fire Emblem games I've ever played. This one stood out to me. This one I loved. And so, yeah, it's my favorite Fire Emblem game, and it's number 11 on this list. So that is the end of this video. Next video I do will be part 2, and it will be games 10 to 1. So it'll be my top 10 Switch JRPGs. So stay tuned for that. Really excited to talk about those because those are obviously the ultimate for me, but these are also really, really great. Like, I played other JRPGs that did not make this list at all, and that's why, you know, the number 11 to 20 are still all, like, solid, phenomenal games that I hope all of you check out. All right, so I'm really excited about next week because it's gonna be the top 10 list. So get excited for that, and I will see you there.